Alright, let's get back into it. Time for bunny puzzles. I love bunny puzzles. Oh. Well, that was an easy puzzle. You solved it. I guess that's for later. I think I recognize this. Yes, I do. I don't know why, this is always such a memorable boss for me. It's just really cool and like comes out of nowhere. Also, his name is File Name. I mean, Fire Name. Alright, Fran's boring because she's healing everyone. Shoot him! Shoot him with your gun! Alright, this is boring. Back to Vaughn. Uh-oh. He's mad. I got poisoned? From the giant fire move, I got poisoned? Oh, about the air. Oh, somebody beat me to it. And Amalia's dead. Dude, this boss not screwing around. Gotta use a Phoenix down. Okay. Well, I used a Phoenix down potion combo, but I decided to do that. Okay, somehow we lived. I don't know how we lived, but somehow we lived. No. Dude, I'm telling you, this game is quite a bit harder on active. It's pretty interesting. At least I can pause things if I change party leader, but that's it. Everything else is just go. I think I have like a million Phoenix Downs. Don't die, Amalia, we need you. Yeah, it's really fun on active, honestly. If you played through the game on wait, and you feel like you want to play it again, highly recommend playing active. It's like a new game. Kill him, he's almost dead. Oh no. Yeah, he is really fast. That's part of the problem. He also keeps teleporting. Kill him. He's almost dead. Kill him. So anyway, there's a fire horse demon in the sewers. We're just gonna It's gonna move on and pretend like we didn't see that. Killian, thank you so much for the bits. Appreciate it.
Now's not the time.
Altair, how do you know things? I like how there's that scene with Vayne where, like, everyone claps for him and, like, he kind of wins the audience, but yet there's still a whole resurgence against him. Kind of shows how, like, just because the public liked him doesn't mean everyone likes him.
Better than a common assassin.
These people have done nothing. Release them.
What are you doing?
Don't interrupt me. I'm thinking.
Wait!
Where'd
He didn't know what he was doing! You have to let him go! You have to!
Penelo! Sorry. That dinner will have to wait.
I told you.
That's enough!
Leave him alone!
Hold on to this for me, would you? Just until I bring Vaughn back.
On your feet, you, Amalia.
All right. Edgy, aren't we?
It's Balthier, my brother.
What does that philanderer think he's doing? I was to kill Balthier, not those addle-pated Imperials.
Yeah, I know, Balthair is the best. Although, I feel like that was supposed to be kind of like a, here's this, and now you know that I'll definitely bring Vaughn back because I'm gonna want that back, but it was just like a handkerchief. Unless, was it, the stone wasn't like in the handkerchief, was it? It's more of a symbolic thing. I think it would have maybe worked better if it was like his gun or something. Like,
I brought you some of those flowers you like.
you know I'll be back because I want this back.
Gabbana lilies.
So you know I'll bring Vaughn back.
Remember?
He doesn't even know who Penelo is
You
though,
always
and he
said how
still
they
like
smelled nice
does that.
And how
It's
pretty
kinda
they
cool.
were. Remember? The king. Did you? Were you really a part of it? Even if you were, Captain Bosch must have tricked you into it.
So now the lilies make sense as to why he was actually upset about him. Also, I really like the trust he has in his brother. To be honest, this beginning with Vaughn is better than I remember it. Like, I feel like up to this point he hasn't been that bad. I still like Balthair better.
You're
but
awake.
Where are we?
Prison, where else? More a dungeon, but it's really all the same.
I thought that was a giant slice of pizza in the corner. Did you see that flag?
Relax, it's just a corpse. Jump at every little thing down here and you'll wear yourself out.
What happened to the subtitle there?
It's
That looked like a
proper
pizza.
dungeon. They just sealed off the bottom level of the fortress. Take a look around. We're not the first they've thrown down here.
Where's Fran?
She's off trying to find us a way out. Remember what curiosity killed? Just a friendly word of advice. This is all the water we've got. I'd save your strength if I were you.
And there he goes. This gives me big, like, Final Fantasy X vibes, where instead of just putting him in a cell, like any normal person would, they, like, throw him in this giant dungeon where they could totally get out. What is the problem with just putting people in cells? The song is pretty good. We're all equals here, stripped of everything by our kind friend the Empire. All we got is our bones, and those will be there soon enough. Horror. Room back there's the corpse pile. That's where they'll throw me when I pass on. You too. Oh, that's the ye old corpse pile. I like how even in the dungeon I can still find treasure. It's just knots of rust. Are you sure that's okay to drink? Water. You Damascan boy? I once fought at this fortress to save the king of Damaska. It's true. Seems an age ago now down here. How come you have a neck brace, but like no one else does? This guy does. The man you came here with had a familiar look to him. Might be I saw him somewhere. Might be a wanted man. In fact, I think that's it. He were a bandit. No, a sky pirate he was. Seemed to remember a hefty sum on his head. Well, whoever threw us down here didn't know that, I guess. Or they wouldn't have thrown him down here. What's he talking about spy hunting? What gives him the right? Look, take my advice and stay out of there. I'm gonna not do that.
No, don't!
And Vaughn just really wants to get himself killed.
He was defenseless.
He's just on a mission to get himself killed. He kind of does everything possible to get himself killed for the entire beginning of the game. Why did you have to throw me in here? Couldn't you just fought me out there?
Something stinks in here, all right. I've changed my mind. This is no dungeon, it's a sty. I said you're the one that stinks, Hamshanks. Hear me now? You all right, Vaughn?
No, not really.
Yeah.
His name is Gwitch. Hey! How come you get to heal? Oh wait, I can still heal. Do they have licenses for their clubs and sticks?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so cool that Balthair rescues Vaughn here. He punched him so hard they disappeared.
Huh?
That's a fresh one, that.
Not faces I'd seen before.
Ready?
UFC contract. They really just stand against the
Great.
wall and they're invisible.
They just don't give up, do they?
Oh yeah, there's so many like Star
Now
Wars.
it's looking like a good time for us to leave.
Not references, but inspirations in this game. Why the zoom in on her feet?
Through the oubliette. There's a way out. Only...
Only you sense the mist. Then we'll need weapons.
What did you call me? Say that again.
What? You couldn't hear? I merely said that a lot of you are incompetent fools. If you've the Sky Pirate in your hands, where is he?
You'd have done better, Bagamnon. By your own words, it was the Imperial Army who caught this Sky Pirate of yours. We've done your job for you. We don't require the assistance of filthy headhunters. The Empire will restore order here.
Eh? What's that you say now? Maybe I'll wet my blade on you before I kill Balthair.
That's enough, Bagamnon.
a judge.
Judge?
The self-proclaimed guardians of law and order in Arcadia.
Even
They're
that
the elite guard of House Solidor, which effectively makes them the
that camera
commanders
angle
of the
there
Imperial Army.
of him like walking and it pans up.
If you ask me,
It's like so Star
they're
Wars.
more executioners than judges. Not a friendly lot, at any rate. What are they doing here?
The Emperor is willing to overlook grace for his more talented servants. However, those that do not show respect will receive none in kind.
Your Honor.
You travel freely through our lands because the Emperor wills it. Am I correct?
Bah. Yeah, maybe it'd be easier for you guys to find the Sky Pirate if you didn't just throw him into this
We're ready to
dungeon.
begin our interrogation. This does not concern you, Bounty Hunter.
He's in here somewhere. Find him.
Wedgie, that way.
It's going this way.
What's that?
Time for the hare to follow the fox.
The magics binding the door to the oubliette are quite strong. Too strong even for my talents.
That's why we'll get them to open it for us.
How is going deeper into this
What's
place?
wrong? You don't trust her? Fiera's noses are sharp. If she says there's a way out, there's a way out.
I love it. I like can't get over the interactions between Balthair and Fran. They're like so good already. I love how like Balthair will finish her sentences. Like you can just tell they've been together for a long time. Like you can tell they've been partners in crime for a long time. Just the way they talk, the way they act around each other. It just instantly makes you love their interactions.
Look,
Ah, the prison repository of wrested relics and raiments.
So our things are in here?
That's what I said.
So basically they put all of our weapons in a room that's totally accessible. Like we went through one door and here they are. Okay. Basically Han and Chewie, yeah. But Chewie did some exercises, I guess. Cleaned up pretty nice. How's everyone use your name? Oh, there was a treasure in there? I kind of did just walk right out, didn't I? My eyes were on the save point. No. That guy looked like he had a funny face on his helmet.
There are more turnkeys than cut purses down here. I've had my fill of chains. Let's tread lightly, shall we?
So many great quotes already. More turnkeys than cut purses. Wait, we're just gonna fight them? I guess we do have our weapons now. Are they not all just gonna run at me and kill us? These are the worst guards ever. This dude's got like a great sword. I've used steel a little bit. I stole from some of the stronger enemies. I don't know what these guys give. So far I haven't missed a steal. Okay, I missed a steal. I had to say something. Nice 69 damage, Ron. What is this doorway? Why is there a doorway to just bricks? Who designed this place? There you go, I got a potion. Stole his potion and he still used a potion.
Yeah.
Drop that toast. This dagger is pretty big for being a dagger. Look at the size of it. It's a mage.
Yeah.
I like how you still get a chain even though they're different enemies just because they're all soldiers. Probably hurry before it closes. Is this the door to darkness? Zarek, thank you so much for the 2 months, man. Appreciate it so much. Glad you could join us. Oh my god, is that a skeleton?
You have grown very thin, Bosch. Less than a shadow, less than a man. Sentenced to death, and yet you live? Why?
To silence Andor. How many times must I say it?
Is that all?
Why not ask Vayne himself? Is he not one of your masters?
We've caught a leader of the insurgents. She's being brought from Rabanasta, the woman Amalia. Who could that be? Such a faithful hound to cling so to a falling kingdom.
Better than throwing it away.
Throwing it away, as you threw away our homeland.
Who's there?
This the place?
The mist is flowing through this room. It must be going somewhere.
You're no Imperials. Please, you must get me out.
It's against my policy to speak with the dead, especially when they happen to be Kingslayers.
I did not kill him.
Is that so? Huh. Glad to hear it.
Please, get me out. For the sake of Dalmasca.
Dalmasca? What do you care about Dalmasca? Everything that's happened is because of you! Everyone that's died, every single one. Even my brother. You killed my brother!
Quiet! The guards will hear.
I was gonna say.
I'm dropping it.
Pirates without a sky.
Fran with the plan. Yeah, this is kind of the way Vaughn goes for the rest of the game, as far as I remember. Like, he just ruins he's just the guy that ruins everything. Like, they did a great job setting him up, but he gets annoying fast. Like, dude, you're supposed to be a thief and know how to be, you know, Stealthy. Why are you like screaming? I know he like lost his temper because of his brother, but like, come on, dude.
Spare us your quiddities.
Yeah, but he's
A traitor, I know. Stay here and fight if you want. If you can walk, let's go.
You're taking him with us?
We could use another sword arm.
But he's a skeleton.
And you have it.
He just scowls at everything. Von the Scowler. Even Balthair is getting fed up with him. Because Balthair is the coolest character, it makes us fed up with him. Holy crap, I'm rich. Who put 1,000 gil in this random room? Yeah, I gotta love the 777 chest. Juvenile, you so much to the 11-month primer. One more month to your full year, man. Thanks so much for being here. Oh my god, Bosch looking like Santa Claus. Looking like a Sasquatch. Click. Let's have a look. The fuse is blown. That would explain why there's no power reaching the switch. If the wiring is any indication, I'd say this is a central power relay of some sort. As it stands, I doubt we'll find much still running down here. Don't get many visitors down here. You come scavenging for odds and ends, have you? Oh, the way out is just back up those stairs. To smithereens, you say? Then there's nothing left but to find some other way out through these tunnels. We need to get the power working again. For that, gate'll budge, though. The fuse in that contraption up the stairs is blown, but this ought to fix it up. Made that tube fuse from parts I found down in these very tunnels. It's good as any you'll find, and better than most, mark my words. Wait, so you had the fuse to fix that thing? You've just been holding on to it this whole time, just sitting here? Okay. Do you just give it to the first person you see? I'll buy a Mage Masher. So I can actually equip it. So it says... Apparently Balthair's gun is like really weak because all these are way stronger. Unless maybe it's in his offhand. No, it says really low attack power. Yeah, I gotta go fix the thing and then come back down here. No, you don't need to explain it. There's obviously more math involved because Balthair's gun still does good damage. I don't need to know. So you got the gate open. Ought to be able to look for all manner of ways out now. While the lights are on, the passage ain't so bad, but let the charge drop and some fierce beasts start coming out in the dark. Opening this gate probably took the charge down some. That gauge ought to show how much charge is left. About 30% to operate something. The size of these gates, I'd say. Who knows how many more of these gates they got down here. You look for these switchboards, you ought to be able to make your way. Okay, I said I don't want to know, and then everyone told me. But thanks. Can we get Bosch a shirt or something?
Hey, who turned out the lights? One of those?
I've heard of these. Mimics. They disguise themselves as all manner of things, then strike when you're least wary. Some of them have a fondness for energy, I'm told. They gorge themselves on the stuff till there's naught left.
So, what happens then?
What do you mean what happens then? Zombies.
Lights out, and it's worse in the dark. Much worse. So, let them get too close to one of those conduits, and they'll suck it dry. But don't worry, it'll give the energy back if you ask nicely. Sticking it with a sword helps too. Clock's ticking.
That's not how energy works, but okay. It's a zombie. It's a pretty cool mechanic for this dungeon. I also think it's kind of giving us a prelude of like the day-night system later. Or the rain system, where stronger enemies come out in the rain.
Yeah.
He's eating the energy. Stop that. A pile of iron scraps.
Yeah.
I like the look of the Mage Masher. Mage Masher is like a really old weapon in the series, right? I'm trying to think of one. Was there a Mage Masher in like the first game? I always remember the one in 9, but I'm pretty sure there was some in the older games. I want to say there was one in 1, but 1 also had like really short names. So if there was one, it might not have actually been called Mage Masher. Four. I don't remember there being one in 2 or 3. 4 sounds right. But yeah, for whatever reason, 9 is always the one I remember the most. Probably because Zidane, main character, had one. You get it pretty early. I'm already getting to the point where it's been long enough since we played the first games that I'm like forgetting details about them. It's probably been a year and a half since we played 4. The first games also went a lot faster, so... There was a mute knife in 4. Oh, really? They added one in the re-release. I think some of the re-releases changed up some of the names to make them more congruent with the rest of the series. Now from that, it sounds like they actually just added an entire weapon, but... Can I rate my favorite characters thus far? Vaughn actually gets like probably a 6 out of 10 right now. Like, I actually do like how they set up the character, but he's starting to get annoying already. Pinello gets a 2. Bosch gets a 7. Look at him go. And Balthair and Fran both get a 15 out of 10. And I don't think we've seen really enough of the other characters to give them a rating yet. The queen of compressed audio. I kind of want to let him eat all the charge so I can fight some zombies. Yep, we talked about that a bunch at the start.